What up, APUSH world? My name's Dexter Russo. It is a beautiful Friday morning, and I have to turn this in, so Miss Kels gives me extra credit, and I get an A in her class. Anyway, I'm going to be talking to you guys about urbanization in the Gilded Age. Alright, let's start. Urbanization started mainly because of industrialization in America. The cities became the hub for ports, factories, basically anything that pushed the economy forward. Cities were the center of that, and so it produced many job opportunities, mainly in industry. African Americans flocked to these cities as whites did for job opportunities. However, factory jobs for blacks were rare, and professional opportunities were almost non-existent. Urban blacks tended to work as cooks, janitors, domestic servants, and in other low-paying service occupations. Immigration was also very prominent to these cities. Most of the immigrants came from Eastern and Southern Europe, including 8% Italian, 10% from actually other Central European countries, 11% Scandinavian, 15% Irish, 18% British, and 28% German. This made for very diverse communities, and it was a good thing for the city because it made it sort of the epitome of the melting pot of what America is supposed to be. With these influx of immigrants coming into these cities, nativism was a big problem. Nativism was the seclusion of immigrants because the people who were in New York, Washington, all these major cities felt that it was their city and they were true-born Americans. However, they were not. Sadly, though, the Immigration Restriction League was formed. This looked to ban immigrants from the Eastern European countries. Sadly, however, although these cities were a great thing for the American economy, they were actually a hotbed for poverty, mainly in the tenant building. The tenant system was basically a bunch of apartments, tall rise buildings where many immigrants, or not just immigrants, everybody was crammed into these because it was cheap living and everyone could be close to their work. Jacob Rias published these findings in How the Other Half Lives. Basically, he just showed all the slum dwellings where he said were almost universally sunless, practically airless, and poisoned by summer stenches. Because of such poverty, the leaders of the city thought that they could kind of make up for this by building big kind of art nature exhibits throughout the city. So, like in New York, for example, they built Central Park. This was part of the City Beautiful movement, in which many cities tried to make up for. Well, in my opinion, from what I've studied, they've tried to make up for what they lacked in nature. Another problem with these cities was the environmental degradation. They had problems such as air pollution, and just problems with the city in general, like health, because of the poverty. From this stemmed the Public Health Service, which looked to clean water, detoxify the air, and just do small things that would keep people in the city and keep the city going. Towards the start of the 20th century, saw a great influx in white-collar workers. It actually rose by 1/3. These were doctors, lawyers, and other professions. And this kind of marked a turning point in the city culture where was, it was still a big place for jobs that took no skill. However, these white-collar jobs were greatly increased. Also, chain stores were a big trend that started to become. No longer were people making their clothes at home. That was a traditional American thing, and the cities were an escape from traditional means. So chain stores, boutiques, fashion started to come into play.
Are you guys doing AP next year?
So now the city represented objects, material objects. So now that they could focus on stuff rather than just eating, sleeping, basically the necessities of life, they can focus now on sports like Major League Baseball, the NFL, gambling, um, theater, basically stuff that uh, um, are entities in life. What really interests me about this period in American history is basically all of the extra stuff that was included that was not there before. So, like I mentioned, sports and stuff, but also just leisure. The Fourth of July was never really celebrated as much. It wasn't really like a big party as it is today, and that started during this age, because the Fourth of July was like the day that workers got off to celebrate. So this is where like the fireworks and the partying kind of started. Okay, well, I am signing out now. I hope you guys learned a lot. I know that I'm just a really good teacher, and I don't stutter sometimes when I'm talking fast. So I would just like to say thank you for listening, and have a great day.